as Jacob comes up here to talk about how he built on Bitcoin. So Jacob, please take the stage.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, everybody. So the room is full of energy, and I love those events because you get so energized. I like to feel that, we are all connected by this one common denominator, the 21 million. And, it gives us force, right? I'll come back to it later. So yeah, BitcoinWalk, the path to mastery. I decided to call my presentation this way. And a little bit about myself. So my name is Jacob. I'm also known as Endo Rivers. That's my crypto / nickname, whatever, from my previous life before I decided to dox myself. And I'm a Scrum Master, an Agile coach, and software delivery manager. I'm working in fintech. And BitcoinWalk is something I do on weekends. So I'll tell you the whole background story about this and see if you can relate to this. I'm a big fan of Japanese culture. I've studied for 1 year in Japan. I thought that this was transformational to me. And I see a lot of cool stuff coming from Japanese culture. And the framework you saw in the first picture, I'll come back to this as well. It's called Shuhari. And thanks to Princey and some other really cool Bitcoiners who've taken responsibility for their kids, I'm going to call myself an unschooling dad. So I've got 2 kids, and I'm taking them out of the education system. And yeah, I'm going to be taking responsibility for their education. And I'm a Bitcoin walker, and we're going to talk about this in a second. I put a couple of links for my socials, so Telegram, Nostr, or X, Twitter. Yeah, so why are we here? We're here because we want to learn about Bitcoin. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot to learn, right? Because you can learn about proof of work and the importance of proof of work and why it's needed to be the framework used to provide a just, fair money distribution, and not just some token that is created out of thin air, proof of stake, where the founder keeps the stake, or big stake, and gives the rest to the others. That's one of the things that needs to be discussed and make people aware, right? We need to learn about the importance of self-custody and what that does to us, how it changes the whole world. Your money in the bank is not your money. Bitcoin allows you to own your money. So we need to learn about wallets, multi-sigs, encryption, and understand how those things work. We need to learn about the difference between on-chain and layer 2s. Right now, we're very lucky because we can transact on-chain. And yes, the fees sometimes go up, sometimes they're higher, sometimes they're lower, but it's still affordable. And it is possible that within our lifetime, it will be very hard or very expensive to transact on-chain. So layer 2s, they're popping up, and it's good to stay up to speed. It's good to have somebody to talk about those solutions and identify those that are legit versus those that may not be, maybe scams, and there will be scams. We need to learn about running nodes and how important that is. So, UTXO management, another thing to be aware of. We need to know what it means, what's the consequences of not consolidating dust or consolidating too much and then making a transaction for, a t-shirt with your biggest UTXO and then giving the, as BTC Session says, the peer Ben from BTC Session says that basically, if you're buying a t-shirt from a big UTXO, you're giving the merchant your address and the ability to see how much money you have in your wallet. So they may be motivated to come and visit you with a $5 wrench and say, hey, I want the rest of it, So it's important to understand those things. And boy, there's so much more to learn, There is privacy, coin joins, join markets. These are the things that could be intimidating. And you don't want to make mistakes with your money. It's important. So you need to be going to those events, to those conferences, and having those conversations, talking to your peers, listening to lectures and people smarter than yourself. I don't consider myself super smart, but from all the things I learned about Bitcoin, I learned that I actually understand very little of that still. And I get deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And I know how little I know. And I know that basically Bitcoin will surprise us many times in the future. So all those things and more. And things like, is that there? Oh, that was too hard. Okay. Things like money, economics, geopolitics, technology, game theory, energy, environment, philosophy. Those are topics all related to Bitcoin one way or another. And to study all that and to learn all that, it could be quite overwhelming and time consuming. So there is a framework that I learned from, come on, from Japanese martial arts called shuhari. This is the journey from beginner to master. And what it basically does, it just tells you that in the beginning, when you start your journey, you have to follow the rule. There is a bunch of rules we all need to follow, and you don't question those rules. You kind of keep on following and repeating them over and over again. That's how you learn martial arts. Once you get to the point of proficiency in doing those basic things over and over again, you train this muscle memory, you train this Bitcoin muscle, I call that Bitcoin muscle in your brain, and then you start understanding more. So you follow the rule, and then you can move to the next step, which is breaking the rule. So you follow the rule, and then you can make an exception. And you can make this exception because you understand the foundations. So you can always take a step back and go back to default to the foundation. But in your journey, learning when to break the rule, how to do that, is super important. And then the third step, which in Bitcoin I don't think we will ever achieve, is being, I think Satoshi was a master. He was the guy who understood exactly what was being done in all those different layers: social, economical, technological, energy-related issues. So to be a true master, you become the rule and you transcend. And this is this third step, Ri. So shuhari. But what does that have to do with learning Bitcoin, you could ask? Well, this is where BitcoinWalk comes in place, because the level of energy you guys feel today or tomorrow or yesterday, and the way you're energized and inspired by some of the speakers, I get that every week for free. I do BitcoinWalk. So it's a walking meetup that I started over 2.5 years ago. And basically, a little background. I live in Edinburgh. This picture here, this is the Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, a very nice place. And when my partner and I had our second child, we moved over there. We didn't have any support from extended family. It was quite overwhelming to raise 2 kids. So when my second son was around 3-4 months old, I talked to my wife, honey, I need a little bit of me time. Not too much. I just want to go for a walk and just, put on my headphones, maybe listen to a podcast, audiobook. And I did that. And, I started listening to the books and podcasts that changed my life. And I'm sure you know which ones I mean. So, all the great Bitcoin books, podcasts like the ones of Danny's doing. And at some point, I got so overwhelmed, I just said, I'm going to go crazy if I don't talk to someone about this. Because it is life-changing. And am I the only guy who thinks like that? Probably not. So there must be other people like me. So I put up a meetup page first. And I said, okay, on Saturday. And then I'm just putting in, the date, Saturday, every Satoshi, every Saturday. We go for a walk and we walk the talk. First, there was one guy who came in, 2 of us went for a walk. Felt pretty good. So next week I did the same thing. A few more came in, different people, and I started having conversations. And the feeling that I got was pretty much what I get on those kind of events. Super energizing, super refreshing, new perspectives, learning new things from other people. That was pretty cool. And got to the point where our 2 or 3 hours walks would happen like no matter what the weather was. And in Scotland, we don't get good weather all the time. So there was, days it was pouring rain, we would still go for a bloody Bitcoin walk, and that was fantastic. That you can see the commitment, and you can see that this becomes a therapy. I often say that, Bitcoin is the most secure computer network we know, but it's also the strongest support network in terms of our peers and people who will reinforce your beliefs. And I remember, there was a time when Bitcoin was going sideways, maybe a little down. The weather was crap. I was having a bad day. I wake up on Saturday and say, hey, okay, Saturday, Bitcoin walk. Okay, I'm going to go for a Bitcoin walk, but I feel like not great, right? And I'm sure you can relate to this. Like, okay, well, there's only so much I can do. But then I go to the Bitcoin walk and I meet my friends. And then one of them just jumps in and say, hey, did you buy the dip? And that just changes everything. Like immediately you say, okay, well, I'm back. I'm back. And we start talking stuff. And it's fantastic. So BitcoinWalk allows you to also do peer-to-peer trading. Like whenever we have a new, like complete newbie or Norcoiner coming over who are interested, and we say, hey, would you like to buy some Bitcoin? We do, a £10 or 10 euros, whatever transaction over Lightning, and they can see that, they can touch it, they can witness how quick it is, how cool it is. So it's a great platform to do that in real life as well. So far, we've done only a couple of bigger transactions, and I don't intend this to be, a trading platform per se, but people can do whatever they want, and if somebody wants to trade Bitcoin, why not? And we have a little tradition. So this is something I brought from Japan. Basically, wherever you go in Japan with a group of students, you take a family picture. And so this is what we do with BitcoinWalk. We take the proof of walk picture. So if you look for this hashtag on Twitter or on Nostr, you'll find plenty of us cheering for Bitcoin, actually in different places around the world, because this is now being kind of decentralized. It's now happening in over 20 cities. There is one in Bulgaria, actually, in Bansko, which is pretty big, and I encourage you guys to go and see that. Let me try to go to the next slide. Okay, this is just a few of them. So if you go to the bitcoinwalk.org website, you can join the existing Bitcoin Walk, or what you could do is you can start your own walk. There's a link to basically say, hey, I want to do a walk, and what I'll do is I'll set up a page for you and create a Telegram group for you, and you guys can network together, meet your peers, and do your own Bitcoin walk wherever you are. And this is completely free. I'm not getting anything from that. What I'd love to get from that is that one day I'm going to go to some Bitcoin walk somewhere, and I say, hey, can I walk with you? And meet you guys and have the same same feeling, and learn new perspectives. So I think, yesterday we had a lot of references to Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. So I'll take it somewhere else. I'll take it to the Force. I'll take it to Star Wars. And I'm going to say that, I'm going to quote the Luke Skywalker quote, that the Bitcoin Force is not just the purchasing power that we got. It's not only about numbers go up, it's about our power to fight the evil fiat empire and restore justice. We are all Satoshi, we are all Jedi. Thank you so much.
Let's just